kind of move on to another subject. This one, when I read it, I had my tongue firmly in the side of my cheek because part of me wanted to laugh my ass off on this one. LMAOA, like you put on Facebook, but not funny because someone lost their life. But you got a lion that kills a Zimbabwe woman having sex in the bush. A lion reportedly attacked a man and a woman having sex in a bush in Africa, killing the woman. Now, unfortunately, and this is a quote, unfortunately, the woman who was known as Mai Desir was mauled to death by the lion, but her boyfriend managed to escape naked, and he was only wearing a condom. The two were having their quality time near a primary school, end quote. Now, Tony, I'm coming to you this first. I don't mean to laugh because somebody lost their life. But
I laugh.
Yeah, I think we all kind of got our tongue firmly in our cheek on this one.
No,
this dude, all right, look. You were the lady in the lion's den, because we call this the lion in Legacy Internet Radio. We know our mascot is a lion. You're the only lady lioness in the den with these lions. I think it's funny as hell. The dude was like, he saw the lion roar and he bounced and left her, and he ran butt ass naked but for a condom. Could you just picture?
At least he was using protection, dog, in the woods.
Protection, Tony. But I'm sorry, I got a little bit of tongue in cheek in there. But what's your thoughts on this, girl?
Okay, first off, yeah, he was wearing a condom. So kudos to him, but kind of redefines safe sex because he was wearing a condom, but the lion still. But this is not the first time this has happened. A similar incident, I think, took place maybe a couple of months ago, and another female was killed. So these punk men are leaving these women at the hands of these.
You gotta be quick on your game, son.
Ask your question. Call back. What's your thoughts, man?
How fast can you run, Tony? Tony, I just need to know how fast can you run.
If a lion comes, I'm out.
Okay, obviously you not out. You need to talk to your African sisters. Yeah.
Well, he got out and rolled out.
Which way you running? Because I'm gonna trip you.
Hey yo, for real though. What if it was like right at that moment, and then he got to do his thing, and then he bounced?
That's probably what happened.
That's exactly
what happened.
Here's a big question that we keep ignoring.
Body locked up on her.
I mean, yo, a bush dog.
I'm sorry.
A bush. I'm saying a bush. A bush? Really? They were having sex behind the bush. There ain't nowhere else in Zimbabwe to have sex but behind bushes.
And it was behind the school, actually.
And behind the school.
Hey, look, man.
What, it teachers?
If that moment hits you, then that moment hits you. I mean, don't nobody want no proof. They gotta wait for missionary at home. I mean, if you one of those people who want to get it where it comes to you, then so be it.
It is simple as physiology. Who skied it first?
Yeah,
got away.
I wonder. hey, look, if you couldn't get up and keep it moving as quick as the brother did, sister, I'm sorry. And hey, look, I don't want to make light of the fact someone lost their life, but I did think when I read that article, I was like, wow, that's a little bit crazy.
But obviously they were missionary because he got
away. He was in the back.
I mean, if he was in the back, then they could run together.
Exactly. That's why he had to be missionary, because that means when he was gone, she was like, I'm dead.
And you know how Steppin with Marcus J. Two real quick stories I want to get into. One is super short, and the other one not quite as short. Mayor Bloomberg in New York has this thing where he trying to ban everything. First it was the cigarettes, which I agree with, because y'all nasty smokers want to smoke in front of a building. Makes me sick. Because you can't smoke inside, you figure you smoke right in front of the door, and then I get to walk into the building smelling like your ass. That's not cool to me, but it is what it is. You ban smoke inside buildings, I'm cool with that. But the soft drink thing, you banning soft drinks, that's like, if I want to get me a big gulp, then why can't I get me a big gulp? And the other thing is, you want to ban headphones now? He's trying to ban people from listening to their iPods with their headphones on because there's some sort of hearing loss. Now, I understand if he's trying to be a benevolent type of dude. And I also understand if you walking around, Big Roo, with your headphones on and you stepping in front of a New York City cab and you get your ass ran over.
Sounds like a you problem.
That's probably a you problem. But I don't know that I need to be legislating wearing headphones, drinking big gulps, Big Roo. What's your thoughts, man?
Look, man, the dude's upset that he don't know how to work an iPod, man. That's all it is.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. He don't know how to work an iPod. And if you walk in front of any traffic in New York with your iPod stuff on, you get hit. That is definitely a you problem. Definitely.
Calm Banks.
I think what it is, the man just wants to influence public safety and public awareness on certain issues, and somebody put a report in front of him, and he just all of a sudden to say, "Hey, I'm gonna buy into this report." That's all it is.
I agree with you. Actually, surprisingly, I do agree with you on that. This is a dude that got so many freaking millions of dollars that he makes $1 freaking dollar a year or some kind of crazy amount. Like they got in his contract, he don't make no money being the mayor. It's like a whole power trip that this dude is the mayor of New York City. And so, you know, there's some benevolence there.
Well, y'all get rid of him.
Well, I don't say y'all don't live there. I ain't no New Yorker. But, you know, we got some New Yorkers listening. Call us up if you want to be down at 804-402-2893. You know, I think that most people would agree that he's probably better than Giuliani. But seriously, I mean, the whole thing of trying to ban, you know, big gulps and headphones, I think is a little bit odd. Ain't no half step with Marcus J on LegacyInternetRadio.net. We're in the den on our final What the Hell segment. This one got me a little bit fired up when I heard it. You got an 82-year-old woman that was kicked off a train for singing gospel songs, y'all. They kicked her off the train. The mayor of Miami-Dade in Florida has apologized to the 82-year-old Emma Anderson, who was singing a piece of the song. She had a little bit of a drum, and a security guard came up to her and asked her to stop because apparently the singing on the train is not allowed. Now, she continued singing her gospel song. The security guard snatched her bag, kicked her off the train. He's seen on surveillance video grabbing her bag and violently pulling her off the train. She fell down, suffered a bruised shoulder. The Miami-Dade Transit Authority initially released a statement saying, quote, we regret that Mrs. Anderson had to be escorted out, but regardless of age, all passengers need to abide by rules associated with using transit. So I'm gonna come to Grizzy on this one. You got an 82-year-old, and it doesn't say anything about her being grandma, but 82-year-old, we gotta assume that that's somebody's grandma. I lost my nana at 82 years old, and I look at the picture of this lady here on thegrio.com. I'm a little pissed about this story, and I'll get into my feelings as to why in a minute. But Grizz, I'm gonna come to you first, and then send it to Tony.
From the picture I'm looking at over your left shoulder, Marcus, she should not have gotten removed from the bus for the singing, but for that headpiece she got on, because that joint leaning left. All right, look. Apparently, you know, the devil was Satan was in the heart of the bus driver and the security guard that day. It's ridiculous that she got pulled over. I just wanted to make light of that.
We got Corey hitting us up on the MixLR page. He somewhat agrees with us. He just says most deaf, so he's agreeing. Tony, you got 82-year-old grandma who got yanked off the train for singing old Negro spirituals. My word, swing low, sweet cherry. My word, but. In all seriousness, she got yanked off the train for singing gospel songs. When you hear this kind of story, what you thinking?
A huge reason. Well, one of the big issues that we have in this country, there's no more respect for the elderly. I could be anywhere. I could be in Walmart. I could be in any public place and hear a bunch of people using profanity and talking all kinds of foolishness. Nobody escorts them out. But we have a woman and she was probably surrounded by a bunch of heathens. That's why she started singing hymnals.
In Miami-Dade County? Probably.
Absolutely.
However,
I mean, there are worse things that, especially in Miami, they have a lot of crime going on. There's more things that this person could have been focused on, aside from this harmless old lady who's singing her speech. She's not hurting anybody.
Calm Banks. When you hear about this lady get snatched off the train, what's your thoughts, man?
I wonder where was the dude who... I need to know the dude who did it. I just want to meet him because he really need to understand This is somebody's grandma. You just yanking off the train like this, dude. You can't be more respectful of the grandma like that.
Big road. Big road.
All y'all crazy. And I'm gonna say it real nice because it is what it is. Hate me, I don't care. However, if you don't police the small rules, how can you police the big ones? Grandma was singing "Sweet Low, Sweet Chariot" because you're right. There was a whole bunch of heathens around her, and she wanted to make sure she was safe. Well, she was safe because he told her to get off the bus, off the train. The problem is, she felt like I'm not getting off the train. I'm not getting off the train. And next thing you know, the only thing we see is him yanking her stuff out. That we don't see that this dude probably, because we don't know, because we only see the bad part. He probably talked to her for like 5 minutes, talking about getting off the train, and then he wouldn't have no choice. If it's against the rules, against the rules. Because you're a certain age, the rules don't apply to you. Nah, it don't work like that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that. If he handled her incorrectly, I apologize for that, and that dude should. However, I mean, as Marcus J said, she was singing and she had a drum. If she was just singing, she probably would have been cool. But a drum too? Nah. I ain't got time for that.
She wasn't walking around with no big bongo.
No, I mean, Marcus, did you say she had a drum?
I look at it like this. I agree with Tony in this sense that, you know, respect for elders. I mean, I know what your state law says or your city law, whatever your ordinance is, that it doesn't matter how old you are. We got our laws. It is what it is. But I think a lot of times people get caught up in enforcing their laws and they don't use common sense. You got an 82-year-old woman who is singing a harmless song. Yeah,
and beating the drum.
Yeah, it's against your role. It's against your rules. I understand that, and I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing the fact that she probably tried, and not probably, possibly, she possibly tried to use her elderliness as a crutch to try to get over with doing some stuff she probably knew. They probably said to her, Miss Lady, you probably should shut the hell up, and she probably didn't. I will concede to all of that. But do you really need to grab this old lady by the arm and throw her ass off the train for real?
And that part I don't agree with.
Seriously,
however,
but I think I'm gonna let you get your point in, Ro. But my thought is, I'm agreeing with Tony in the sense that oftentimes we don't allow ourselves to use common sense and protect our young and our old. Like, I mean, what happened to the days where you get a little bit of a pass because you old? You know what I mean? Like now, you know, for someone that's singing a harmless Negro spiritual, she probably singing like we was climbing a swing low, sweet, or maybe, you know, what's the other one? Amazing Grace. You know, amazing. Thank you for reading my mind, Tony. She probably singing one of them harmless songs, and she get thrown down to the ground for singing a harmless song. Like what world do we live in where the punishment for singing out of turn gets you thrown down to the ground? Like, really, man, you cool with that for real?
Now, see, I don't, and once again, I did say if he threw her violently or something like that, yeah, that joint's wrong. However, you know, this woman singing, people getting upset. What do you want him to do? I mean, then you're talking about a security guard who's got to deal with 20 other people instead of dealing with one. And I'm not saying that this should happen to anybody, elderly or regardless. However, it's one of those things, you know, you're right. He was probably like, yo, I just need for you to chill a little bit. Can you hold on? Can you keep it down or whatever? And I'd have been real cool with that, man. But to sit here and we're assuming that this dude said, yo, shut the F up. Get the F off the train. I ain't going nowhere. Well, I'm going to take you off. We're assuming that's how it went down, and that's probably how it didn't go down. And the fact that we don't know how it went down automatically makes me think, oh, security guard's bad. He's mean. The security guard's doing his job.
I agree with you. Security guard is doing his job. But where you lose me is you take an 82-year-old, frail, old-ass lady and grab her by the arm and says, your crime is singing. Let me throw you on this ground because you're singing and we don't think you're supposed to be singing because our paper says that you ain't supposed to be singing. So because our paper, you know, the law says that you ain't supposed to be singing, your punishment to get you to keep from singing, let me throw you on this ground because we know that's going to stop you from singing calm.
Can she later apologize herself to something happening? Didn't she later apologize to something she did or she didn't do regarding that whole incident?
Far as I know, I don't see anything in the Miami-Dade article that says that she apologized. There's a cell phone video that shows her being wrestled off the train, taken by another passenger. The video also shows her being yanked and struggling with the suitcase after her falling. And of course, the mayor, Carlos Jimenez, issued a policy.
What's his last name?
Carlos Jimenez, a Latino fella, I'm assuming based on his name, issued apology to Miss Anderson this week. I just don't see how you can justify manhandling an old ass lady because she's singing Negro spirituals. Now I'm pulling up the video here on YouTube.
It's probably 25 seconds long.
It's a 2-minute video. We're not going to take the time to look at the whole thing because we do need to kind of move on. But you know, the video as I look at it is showing her kind of talking about it, and then you see the man coming up to her, and you see her, you know, being talked to. You know, we're looking at the video right now as we're kind of talking, and we see the bus driver coming up to her, and he's grabbing her suitcase, and he's kind of telling her, "Look, shut the hell up! You don't need to be on this bus singing." And he's pulling her stuff off the bus, and she like, "Yo, what you doing?" And whatnot. And as we look at this video together, you know, you see her family, you know, kind of interspliced with, you know, the video of her actually getting pulled off the train. And I'm sorry, you know, the whole fact that we are actually seeing this, you know, post video, we seeing it later on, you know, but the mayor of this town felt it in his right to come in and say, "Yo, my bad, this shouldn't have happened." I'm agreeing that this shouldn't have happened, Big Road.
Well, I'm agreeing that the end part shouldn't have happened because that's all we see. However, we don't see how many times he actually talked to her and asked her to be quiet.
You really justifying the fact that
I'm not going to cut you off.
You justifying grabbing up an old ass lady just because she's singing old Negro spirituals on the bus?
No, I never justified that.
You just justified.
No, I did.
You just said we need to see how many times he asked her. Well, it don't matter how many times an old lady, man.
No, I think if he put his hands on her, that was a bad day. He shouldn't have done that. However, this does not excuse the fact that maybe she was asked 15 times to please be quiet. No, I'm not justifying the fact.
It doesn't matter. Man, have you ever? How many times have you been on the metro? How many times have you taken a train through the city? This is something that people do every single day.
Correct.
What this lady was doing should have been the least of anybody's worries.
But we don't know what happened before.
It doesn't matter. She's singing.
And that's a bunch of crap.
She's singing.
It does matter. It does matter. It does too. So maybe he cursed at her. Maybe he did some stuff to her.
So it matters. So if let's say that she cursed at him, or let's say that she used a racial epithet to the security guard, that means that he has the right on a 80. How old is she, Marcus J?
82 years.
82-year-old lady to drag her and yoke her on the video.
Well, once again, I keep saying,
let that be my
for him touching her and pulling her off, there is no.
But you gotta, however,
for that. However, I do have however.
I know.
Because if she was 40 and this happened, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's because she's 80-something years old. And I'm not saying, like Mark said earlier, she might have been playing that I'm old and I'm not going to do what you guys say because I want to be the new incarnation of Rosa Parks. You know, it is what it is. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying, unfortunately, dude. Unfortunately, dude.
Security guard?
I mean, I can't put myself in that situation, man. But if that's his job, that's his job.
There's such thing as due force. There is such thing as due force. This woman is 82 years old and she's sitting on the bus.
And we're watching
with a shower cap leaning.
And we're watching a portion of a clip that was recorded. We're not watching the whole thing. Like the old dude beating the young dude on the bus. If you just saw him beating him up, but you didn't see the fact that the young dude got in his face and headbutted him first, you think the old man was at fault.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, I'm not saying him touching her was right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're referring to the young girl that got knocked the hell out, and as the dude from Friday would say by the bus driver dude.
No, it's a guy.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you know the guy, the kid that got knocked out on the girl that got knocked out on
It
the
was a
bus.
guy.
Who was talking, you know, some.
No, that's something else.
Okay,
That's
but
something
cool,
else.
But cool, but those are young people. Those are young people, and I think the fact that we're dealing with an 82-year-old woman, for me, and this is my opinion, that makes it different for me. It just does, because I'm not saying that you get free reign. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're saying.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that you get free reign. There's other ways you deal with it. If this 82-year-old woman wouldn't take the direction of the person who's in charge, the bus driver, then you call a cop. And the cop will meet you at your next stop. And when she gets off the bus, whatever the charge is, whatever the misdemeanor or felony or whatever the hell it is that's on the books that says your punishment is for singing Negro spirituals on a bus when you ain't supposed to, you let the police officer deal with it. You don't grab this old lady, throw her down on the ground and hurt her just because your ass think that you in charge of this bus. Like, for real, you ain't no cop. You in charge of the bus, but you ain't no cop. For real? That's not how you deal with that. You know, okay, she's annoying everybody on the bus, but how many times have you been on the bus? I don't know where you from. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Thank
okay?
you.
I'm from Jersey, okay? And I done been on buses. I done seen people pull out weed and smoke it on the bus. I done seen people pull out their joint and pee on the bus, okay? So I done seen some stuff on the bus, and I seen some punk-ass drivers not do nothing. Okay, so let's not act like this tough guy on the bus wanted to grab this old lady, 82 years old, and throw her down was the man. I'm not having that conversation. I'm not doing that.
And once again, I keep saying that he should not have touched her. However,
there's no however.
No, there's a however.
Why is there however?
There's a however, because you just can't do what you want to do because you're 82.
You can't do what you want to do because you're 82, but there's a way that you go about that. There's a way.
And maybe he tried to go about it that way.
Yeah, but
and maybe he was instructed to do that.
Yeah, but you don't.
But we don't know that.
But see,
and that's what I'm saying.
You have your rules in your world doesn't mean that your common sense doesn't kick in at some point. And your common sense says that if you had a 9-year-old like Mama J on that bus who was doing what she shouldn't have been doing on that bus, don't put your hands on my child. And don't put your hands on my nana. Straight up. That's the way I feel about it. Don't put your hands on my child and don't put your hands on my nana.
And this is how we get down in the den here at 8.5 Steppin with Marcus J, Legacy Internet Radio, and now back to your host.
Yeah, I mean, Grizzy, we needed that. You needed to jump in and calm me down. I'm gonna give Tony the last word on this segment, and then we're gonna move on to our rants and our closings, girl.
Whatever.
How you gonna throw in or whatever? Point is, you know, again, treat everybody with respect, but especially, you know, our older people and our younger people. You can shake your head, suck your teeth all you want to, Big Rube. There's no excuse. You're always that guy. But think about it as being your mom or your grandmother. Don't sit there and say, well, if she was doing what she wasn't supposed to be doing, and they should have thrown her on the floor.
My mother wouldn't have done that. You
wouldn't do that. You treat people the way that you would want to be treated, and we would expect that would be with the utmost respect.
And I understand that, and I agree with you. And I'm just saying that we don't know the whole story. We saw the last minutes of a clip, and that's all we saw. And that's it. I'm not willing to take this part of the story as 100% gospel. I'm just not. And that's it.
I understand, man. That's the way you feel about it. It is what it is. We agree to
disagree, we love Big Rude,
as we often do on Aint or Half Stepper with Marcus J. At this point, we're going to take our final break of the night, and then we're going to kind of get into our rants. We got our closings. Something tells me that we got a huge announcement coming from someone in the den of Aint or Half Stepper with Marcus J. Hang in there. We got a little Jersey love, a little naughty by nature. Tretch is on your man Marcus J's list. Hang in there. We back in a minute.